Well, hello, and welcome back to Builder Dads. I'm Builder Dad Dan, and today I wanted to talk about my pond. If we look at the pond, there's not a lot to look at right now. It's got some algae in it. It's got some movement because we've got a good amount of wind, but it's one of those things I've never really been happy with. Ever since I've been a kid, we've always fought with the pond and keeping it clean. Right now, the cattails have taken over since last year a little bit, and I got down here with the backhoe and dug some out. So the intention of this pond was actually to water the cattle for my grandparents' dairy operation. I believe it existed prior to my grandfather, and it definitely existed prior to my mother because she always remembers having the pond here. But the pond has always been something that we've fought. It's not very deep. It really just holds water, or it held water enough to kind of water the cattle. It had a well in it, and there's natural springs that feed it. Right now, it's not looking too horribly bad because it's got wind, we've had some rain, and so it's kind of knocked things down a little bit. But I always fight with this pond because of its size and the fact that the algae blooms come up pretty fast. It doesn't transition itself. And so I really needed to put into it for a while an aerator. So I used a pond service for the last couple years. And while I'm happy with the results, it was always a process of every 2 weeks, we'd get it looking a little good and then it would look bad, then we'd get it looking good again. And so I decided this year that one of the big things that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make this pond eventually bigger. But up till then, I wanted to kind of clean it up a little bit. So I brought the backhoe down here the other day. I went ahead and dug out as far as I could reach the cattails in that section. Now, I didn't make it the whole way around the pond because, well, I ran out of time that day. And so I really want to get down here and finish this out. It probably won't happen anytime soon because that's the way life goes. But I definitely want to make this a better space. I love the fact that we have a pond. The problem though with that is it's quite a hill here. And so when you're mowing, you've got a distance that you're climbing up. And if anything goes wrong, you end up in the pond. Coincidentally, my father ended up in the pond about a year ago, 2 years ago actually. He was coming down and the Kubota, the ZD28, the tires, at that point it was 18 years old, so the tires were harder. I didn't think about this and didn't realize it actually, but the tires were harder, and so he actually was mowing up there, and as he came down, it broke loose, and he slid all the way into the pond here. Now, luckily the pond was at a lower level, and at that lower level, it didn't ruin the tractor at all, didn't hurt it, but it definitely did us no favors, and the neighbor had to come over and pull it out with his excavator. And right there, if you look, something just disturbed the bottom in there. And so it's kind of nice right now. Like, it's not too bad. I can see the bottom of the pond, which is way better than it was the other day, because the other day when I was digging down here, it got really muddy. And you can see the muskrat must be digging over here. But if we take a look around here, you'll kind of see how this looks. Now, I want to dig all of this stuff out here and clean it up a little bit. Again, it's pretty soft right here, and we kind of mush into the pond. So I stay a little bit back when I'm mowing so I don't end up in the pond. We since changed out the tires on the ZD28 and put a little bit more aggressive turf tire on it so it bites, and clearly I'm climbing no big deal, because if you look at the lines, I get pretty close. Now, I don't get all the way close, but I get pretty close. But you can see down here where when I was digging the other day, I had the Kubota hooked up to the dump trailer, and the weight right here, I sunk in pretty good there. Sunk in really good here, and I backed up pretty darn close to the pond there. But it's one of these things where this pond, the truth be told, I have never been happy with this pond. And obviously trash day, something ended up in here, so I've got to go fish that out. But you can kind of see where I was digging, and it's nice now that I can see the bottom, but I definitely couldn't see it that day, and I was kind of guessing as I dug and did my thing, and you know, now I have a little wet spot. So I'm gonna have to come down here, bring some dirt. I'm gonna have to fill this in a little bit here, and then use the power rake to kind of break up the soil, loosen things up, and move things around. But I definitely want to get down here and dig a little bit more. Now, unfortunately for me, having that John Deere backhoe, I clearly don't have good enough reach. I mean, here I was sitting back far enough when I was doing this that as I did it, as I was doing this, I had to sit far enough back to where I could reach the trailer. I could not end up in the pond. And so it was a little bit of a game there as I was digging with the backhoe. But it's not too bad. It doesn't look that bad, honestly. But definitely I got to clean things up. This wind is really helping to get the clarity of the pond nicer. But I definitely have to come down here. I've got to treat the algae bloom, get those things sprayed, and kind of work things around a little bit. But oh yeah, muskrat's been busy over here too. Yeah, that muskrat's pretty busy everywhere. He just showed up this year, and I have a feeling he showed up because I let the cattails move in at the end of the last season and didn't really do much about that. But you can see it's a pretty good drop off here. Now sometimes the water level will be all the way up here to the top, but the bank is, I mean, I'm sliding in there. So I definitely don't want to get too close with my mower on this at all. But I'm gonna have to figure this out. So the inevitable, what I want to do is I want to go deeper and bigger. But to do that is not going to be done with my backhoe. My backhoe, it's great. I love it. I'm working on it, getting it fixed up. It's running much better than it ran a month ago, because a month ago it didn't really run. And so we've got that stuff worked out. But it's not the greatest for this kind of work. Funny enough, the neighbor has a Komatsu sitting over there. I don't know what he's doing with that, but it's something more like that, something with a little bit longer reach, and that I can walk around cleanly with this. That way I can dig a little bit deeper and open up the pond as well, because if we look back here, I've got a lot of room. Now granted, I've also got remnants of, like that stone right there. I've got remnants of when my uncle thought it was a good idea to put the silos in the pond, because he was convinced that we should get rid of the pond. My parents liked it, my mother liked it, so we wanted a water feature here. And it helped out because, you know, if there's ever a fire, we've got no sprinkler system, or we've got no hydrant system out here. So you need water available to you, and pond's good for that. But I have room up to the field here where I can kind of open this up a little bit. So as we start to restructure stuff, one of the things I definitely need is clay. And fun for me, at the bottom of this pond is clay. And all of this out here is clay. And so if I look at this land and I walk this a little bit here, one of the ideas that I have that I'm hoping I can actually get done is, if you look at this from here, you can't even see the pond now, and I'm down at the field's edge just about. So if I go ahead and basically reshape this hill a little bit, and because this hill's eroded over my lifetime and it's moved around a lot, I can soften it out a little bit, make it easier to mow. I can also widen the pond out, go deeper, make it so the pond will naturally churn itself around. And if I can get the pond to naturally do its thing, if I can put an aerator in it, the aerator is probably going to happen a lot sooner than me getting down here to fix this. I can actually have this looking really great because I know that while I don't want to swim in it, I'm actually I'm not somebody who likes to swim. I do like fishing, and I would love to have this stocked with something a little bit bigger, or enable it so that we can have some bigger fish in here. Put some things in there to attract, or not attract them, but enable them to grow. And so really have a nice pond feature, because I definitely don't like the scum on the surface here. And I'm gonna have to get all that cleaned up. So this is one of those projects that I'm hoping to get to here. And as I get this all squared away, like everything that I'm doing here, it's one thing at a time. The way I always look at it is when I write software, I'm writing line by line. A lot of times I've got an idea of where I'm going, but I write it in sections and in blocks. When I'm building Legos, Legos are great because when you're building the Legos, it's always brick by brick. There's some that happen on the same page, but a lot of times your page is in before the one single brick or the couple bricks join together to make something really cool. And so all of these things, it's kind of like a stage in a process. And so for me, everything on this farm is connected. The pond is a piece of what has to be done to fix it up to make it look nice. The barns having to be modified, changed, some taken down, some replaced. That one definitely being fixed. I love that barn. These are the parts of this that make this journey fun. And you know what? I'm gonna keep going, and hopefully in the end, we'll have something really nice and really exciting. But I'm just happy right now looking at this, how clear it is where I can see down. And yeah, that algae's not too hot, but it's not that bad. It's been worse, it's been better, but I'll get it treated, I'll get it cleaned up, and I'll keep making little improvements as I go. I'll reach as far as I can reach with the backhoe, and someday, hopefully, not too long, there'll be a video where we have an excavator down here and doing some serious work on it. So until next time, this is the pond, where it's at, and hopefully we'll get some content shot with it looking much nicer. Or in process of looking nicer, I should say. Until next time, have a great day. Woo! I'm slipping. Man, you really don't appreciate this until you gotta go climb it. Oh, I gotta get the tractor out and cut the grass. Luckily, it's dry. Oof.